All right, guys, happy Sunday. Thanks for being here, Loretta. We're going to get started. I want to start with a few announcements and just remind you guys of what's coming up. So Core to Force is going to launch November 1st. Kelly has done an amazing job in her Team Hard Hitters page to set up sneak peeks and online group sneak peeks, and she was able to get it ahead of all of us as being an elite coach, which is an awesome perk of being elite. You always get things first. So if you haven't, if you saw that she posted on YouTube or a YouTube link of that sneak peek, make sure you do it yourself, film yourself doing it, get it out there, talk about it. I did it this morning from her link that she posted in Hard Hitters. I loved it. I was sweating so hard, and I'm not going to lie, I've been doing hammer and chisel, which I really like from the weightlifting standpoint. And yesterday I doubled up on hammer and chisel, 2 of the workouts, and yeah, I was sweating and it was a good workout. And that was a total of probably 50 minutes. Today, I did the 26 minutes of Core to Force, and I was drenched in sweat in comparison. So this is a good workout, you guys. I'm really excited about it. So do the sneak peek and think of ways to talk about it. One thing that has held me back in the past is worrying about how much I'm talking about something online and if on my social media, and worrying what everybody's going to think. And so 2 things I wanted to say. First of all, don't worry about that. We don't want to be all Beachbody all the time by any means, but when a new product's coming out and you're excited about it, like I am genuinely really excited about Core to Force, I've said it 100 times, I should be talking about it because why not? It's part of what I'm going to be doing. But on the flip side of it, and this is me talking to myself, if you're trying to post 3 to 5 times a day, and you're posting a lot about a product or a launch or whatever's coming up, Beachbody stuff, don't swap out those posts for other things. Make sure you're still sprinkling life, stuff about your kids, stuff about what you're up to. So it's not, you're so excited about Core to Force and that's all you post about every day. It's okay if you post about it in some fashion every day and sprinkle it in, but make sure you're still adding value and posting about other things that are going on in your life as well, so that your whole news feed or your whole page doesn't end up being all about, for example, Core to Force. On October 2nd, Kelly is hosting that live sneak peek that you can do with the group, which will be really fun. That's something you can talk about, that you're going to be doing it. You can do little snapshots from that, which would be cool to kind of show people how we all work as a team. So there's a couple ideas for that. Be proactive, just like I talked a couple weeks ago on the team call. Be proactive with this launch. This is going to be a huge launch, you guys. I know that Country Heat was big and Country Heat was exciting, and it tapped into a new market of people, I feel like, that don't like to work out. And I think that's great. And it also tapped into people who do like to work out. Maybe they don't like cardio like me. But there's something about, and this could just be my perspective on it, so take it for what you want, but there's something about these really hard booty kicking workouts, and I saw it when Max 30 came out, that really get people excited, people in fitness in all aspects. So start thinking about people who go to the gym, people who do CrossFit, people who like to run, people who people who like boxing, people who like to be active. This is the program those are the type of people you want to be talking to about this program, because it's going to kick their butts and they're going to get super sweaty and they're going to like it. So think about who you're going to talk to individually in your invites for this, and start talking about it on your social media now. We will be running that group for anybody who wants to join the Faithfully Fit Challenge group for Core to Force. Officially, we'll start November 14th. With a prep week the week before, starting November 7th. So you're welcome to invite to that, or you can run your own, whatever you'd like. But be talking about it. If you're in San Diego, make sure you go to Super Sunday on October 30th, because Joel and Jericho will be there live. If you're not in San Diego, get your butts to your Super Saturdays, wherever they're at, because it's so important. They will be doing Core to Force there, and you can do it live with the master trainers at your location. So you don't want to miss out on that. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is something new that we're going to try for the month of October, and it's called Beachbody Bingo. And I'm really excited about this because I think it's very important for everybody to try not just Shakeology and the workout programs, but also expand your knowledge on the other products we have to offer, because some people are allergic to Shakeology. Some people don't like Shakeology. Crazy. But we also, aside from that, we have so many good products outside of just Shakeology and the fitness programs. And I think as a coach, it's important to have tried them. It doesn't mean you have to be using every single product every single month and stocking all these products and spending all this money on Beachbody. I just want to recommend that you at least try it. I was super skeptical of the boosts, for example. I remember sitting at Summit and they announced that they were coming out with these Shakeology boosts, and I was like, dude, really? You act like Shakeology is the best, now you're boosting it. What the heck? Well, I tried it myself and I realized I really love the Power Greens. I love it. I know I don't get enough of my veggies in. It gives me that extra boost of veggies in my day. I love it. My little thing about the digestive boost is my dad has severe Crohn's disease, and he's been drinking his Shakeology with his digestive boost ever since it came out, and his symptoms have gotten so much better, so much better. So if you have any sort of digestive issues, I highly recommend that, and you wouldn't know until you try it. And little tidbit, the reason they made the digestive one is because the original formula of Shakeology had more digestive enzymes in it, and they took them out because they were getting a lot of people complaining that it was upsetting their tummy because it was just too much. But if you have people who have issues, digestive issues, and they need that extra boost, boom, they made the boost. Focused energy. I'm not going to lie, I don't personally like it. It gives me a headache. There must be something in it that gives me a headache, but I've tried it. Nonetheless, I've gone through a whole jar. I've tried it at different times during the day. I've made sure that I've had enough water, trying to figure out if it's that or something else, and it doesn't work well for me, but I wouldn't know that if I didn't try it. So my point is, try it. So the way Beachbody Bingo is going to work is I will post the graphic after this call, and basically the more things you try, you'll be entered to win raffles. So, and then you can just let me know in the team page what you tried and what you thought of it, and that way you can talk to more people about what we have to offer. Other things that will be included on there are the performance line, the 3-day refresh, and the ultimate reset. The ultimate reset, I have not tried yet. I've tried everything else, but I haven't tried the reset yet, so I will be doing that. Mark my words. I'm just waiting till I'm done breastfeeding. All right. So keep an eye out for that Beachbody Bingo in the month of October. The health bet. So we are going into the final week of the health bet. So make sure you're checking in with your challenge groups and reminding them in the My Challenge Group Tracker app to be checking in every day. As a coach, if you're running one of those groups, you can go and see, even if people haven't been sharing, you know how you can click the workout and type in what you want and put your picture, and you have that little toggle switch to say if you want to share it or not. I realized that a lot of people are posting every day and they're not sharing, and maybe they don't realize you can do that. I made a little live video in mine saying, make sure you click that if you want to share, but maybe they don't want it to be public, but they still want to get some of the cash. So you can go on your computer into there. Let me turn this off, excuse me. And you can look and see who's been logging it, even if it's not showing up on the feed. So you can send messages to people, whether they've logged one or every single one that they need to still be qualified for some of the cash pot. Check in. It's definitely the week to be checking in with every single challenger. If you're in that health bet group, if you're in that part of your challenge group, I always check in with my challengers week 2 and week 3 at least. And then week 4 is like an overall follow-up, and that's when I've already dropped the hint about coaching, especially if they've been super active, and I follow up from that standpoint. So make sure you're doing that. And now I want to talk about follow-ups. So I'm going to be real honest with you guys this month. It's been a rough month, and I know I've heard a lot of people saying that it's been rough for you guys too. Invites just seem to be going nowhere. Follow-ups just seem to be going nowhere. It's like everybody is just holding tight to what they've already got going on. They don't want to try anything new. They don't want to spend the money. You know, the holidays are coming and everybody went back to school. And so I think a lot of moms who we talk to a lot, they are not thinking about themselves right now. They're just thinking about their kiddos. So this month's been hard. My goal is always Success Club 10 by the middle of the month, and I'm sitting at 9. And what I'm doing, because I'm not to my goal yet, is taking it out of thinking about the Success Club points and really focusing in on how am I inviting? What am I saying? does it need to be reworded? Is it not working? Am I coming across desperate for points? And if the answer to that is yes, then you need to go back to what you're saying. You need to revisit your why and your reason for doing this and reconnect with each individual person from a standpoint of how can I help them? How can I get across to them that this is something valuable that can help them? It's not about me. It's not about helping me. It's not about getting that last successful point. I think that I need to be a lot more self-reflective and not always think about it from a point standpoint. And I'm just being completely honest with you guys. So this month hasn't been easy for me either. So I just wanted to share that with you, but that's not slowing me down. So the other thing I've been doing is I've been talking to more people. It's all about who you talk to, how many people you talk to. So typically by this time in the month, I'm talking more about coaching. I'm more on like a recruiting type of schedule, and I've gotten away from that to be more engaged in talking to my current challengers about coaching, but more than that, just focusing on my next challenge group and helping those people get ready for it. And I know that it's going to be a slower process in that to recruit, but I think that's going to make for better coaches, because coaches I've seen come in and they didn't get to the point where they needed to be in their own journey, then they've quit because they're like, what am I doing? Like, I feel like they didn't get the support from me first as a challenger before they came to the business, and that's a really hard jump to make. So that is why I'm going back to the basics on that, and I am all about my challenge groups, which I've always been about, but I'm really focusing there, all my attention there, and focusing on my inviting. So when I would normally invite 5 people a day to a new challenge group, I've went back, I've looked at my wording, I've refocused on my why. Before I send an invite, I really think about, who is this person? What do I really think they could benefit from my challenge group? And I'm going to talk about that when I invite them. And when I would normally do 5, I'm doing 10 in a day now because I haven't met my goal. And I have a challenge group starting a week from Monday, and I have 1 person in it. So that's kind of what I do in situations like this. So along the lines of follow-ups is where the magic happens. I very rarely have somebody say yes the first time. I mean, I don't know about you, but it just doesn't seem to happen. And when it does, you're like, oh, really? Like, can it just be like that all the time? No, it's not. So I wanted to give you a couple ideas on things to say and a couple of my top tips for following up. Always be genuine, always ask questions, and don't take too long to follow up. So you don't want to leave an invite at, just let me know what you think, because that just leaves it open and ended, and a lot of times they'll let you know what they think by not responding. At least that's been what I've seen. So what I like to say instead is, would it be okay with you if I follow up with you in a couple of days? And that does a couple of things. Instead of just saying, let me know what you think, you're asking them a direct question that they need to answer back before just letting it go. Now, they could still not answer you, of course, but they're more likely to at least say something. A lot of times I get people saying, I need to talk to my husband before I spend this kind of money. And that's totally understandable. That's what I told my coach until she made me just buy it anyways. But, so saying, absolutely, I think it's a great idea for you to talk to your husband about it first. I always add a little bit, like, I think it'll be even more beneficial to have your husband on board that you're going to be doing this, and possibly even do it together, or at least have him know that you're going to need his support, and, dinner might look a little bit different, things like that. So I always say, absolutely talk to your husband. But I also like to say, like I said, instead of saying, just let me know, say, how about would it be okay if I follow up with you in a couple of days? It puts a little bit of urgency behind it. It lets them know, oh, I better actually talk to my husband because Andy's going to be calling me back in a couple days or messaging me back in a couple days. So, and then when you do follow up a couple days later, always go back and reread the conversation you had to remind yourself, because if you're like me and you're talking to a lot of people, you don't want to sound like a robot and just go back with, hey, what do you think? You want to join my group? Or, be scripting people all the time, especially at this point in the relationship and at this point in the process of the conversation. So you want to go back with, leading with what they've already shared with you. Maybe they've already shared with you, man, I know I just really need to get my diet on track. I just keep falling off. The kids went back to school and it's so easy to fall back in my bad habits of picking up food in the evening after soccer practice because it's late and I don't want to cook or whatever. So go back to that in the original, in your next follow-up, and say, hey, just following up, did you get a chance to talk to your husband about this? I'm really excited about the idea to, help you get back on track with your nutrition like we talked about. And I think that my challenge group can really help you do that. You can ask, do you have any questions about what we talked about before? I just wanted to see if you have any questions about my upcoming group. And just to remind you that the start date is just around the corner, and I'd love to save you a spot. So you can kind of wrap it up that way with them and see what they say. They're more likely to respond in that way when you told them when you were going to follow up, then you actually followed up that 2 days later, which is my next point. Don't put it off, and make sure you do it. So set a timer. If you're using Teamsy, it makes it so simple because whoever you've talked to, you just tell it, I want to follow up with this person in 2 days, and they will pop up in 2 days. Or if you're not using Teamsy, write it down, or even schedule what I used to do sometimes was I would put a reminder in my phone and it would pop up to follow up with so-and-so. So make sure you're doing that in 2 days, because it doesn't look professional if you ask them if you could follow up in 2 days and then you don't. And then it's like, oh, well, how is this person going to help me if she forgot to even ask me? You're not bugging, especially if you gave a specific time, you're not bugging them by following through with what you said you were going to do. All right. Couple more things. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So sometimes once you've gotten to that point where you're asking to follow up, you can also say, how would you prefer me to follow up with you? Through Facebook, email, text. Sometimes I'll say, here's my phone number. If I've been going back and forth with somebody a little bit and I can tell that they're already opening up to me, I'll give them my phone number and I'll say, hey, call me. I've had a lot of success lately getting people on the phone. It's hard because the people that I'm meeting right now, I don't know them. I'm completely out of my warm market. So sometimes I'm meeting them through my like page or through mutual friends on Facebook. So I've taken the time to form that relationship, and now we're in more of a conversation about challenge groups or coaching or whatnot. And so I'll shoot them over a message and say, hey, I've really enjoyed talking to you, and we've talked a little bit about my challenge groups, or if it's a coaching thing, we've talked a little bit about coaching, and I'd love to talk to you on the phone about it so that you can just ask me questions and get to know me a little bit better and see if this is a good fit for you. And when I've done that and somebody's actually taken me up on the offer to talk, it's been amazing. You learn so much more about that person, be able to talk to them on the phone. And I like making it personal like that. Like with Loretta, we didn't know each other, and I loved that we got to talk before you even joined. I feel so much more connected with you. I'm using you as the example since you're here. But I always think about you in terms of this tip that I'm sharing, because we didn't know each other outside of Facebook, and I really wanted to talk to you on the phone so that we could have that personal connection, especially because I really wanted you on our team, because I knew you would be awesome at coaching and such a valuable asset to the team. And once we connected that one night over the phone, I think we talked for like over an hour. And then I get off the phone and I'm like rambling to my husband, oh my goodness, this chick, she's awesome. And so it makes it personal, and it's not just about trying to, get somebody on your team or get somebody in your challenge group. I then knew more. Oh, shoot. Are you there? It froze for a minute. Again, using Loretta as an example, I then knew her better. And when she signed up, it made it that much more fun, I feel like. So anyways, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Ask people if they want to talk on the phone, even if, and especially if you don't know them. Another awesome thing that I've been using lately is voice memos. That way somebody can hear your voice and hear your tone and hear your enthusiasm for what we do as coaches and what we do in our challenge groups. So use those voice memos. You can use them through text and through Facebook Messenger. And in case you haven't used them yet, with Facebook Messenger, you have 1 minute, and then it will automatically send that message or cut you off, and then you have to do another one. So just so you know, 1 minute send, and then you still have more to say, you can send a separate one. All right. Always add value to your follow-up. So even if they're still saying no, you don't want to end the conversation with like, okay, see you later. I mean, the chances of them wanting to join you after that are probably pretty slim, because that comes across very much so like you didn't get what you wanted and now you're pieced out. All right, on to the next. And that's not what we want to do. So if you're genuinely trying to help these people, then you want to leave it open-ended, and you want to add something at the end of that follow-up, even if they've told you, no, thank you, too much money, my husband said no, whatever they've said. Leave with some value. Leave with a compliment. Make sure you're telling them that you hope that they have a really great week, because you do, right? You don't want to have a crappy week just because they told you no. Share a recipe with them. Say, hey, I know that the timing's not right for you right now because of whatever they said. Battle that objection right in that last message, the last message for now, I like to say. And then say, hey, we talked a lot about diet and how you'd love to have some more recipes. I just wanted to share my favorite easy go-to dinner with you, and shoot them over the recipe. Or another idea is to leave with an experience that you've had. Okay, I know that the timing's not right for you. We've talked about this in the past. I just couldn't help but share my really good friend joined last week, and she's doing the 21-day fix, and she just messaged me that she's down 2 pounds in 1 week, and she feels so good about the fact that she finally said yes. Throw that little nugget out there, and they might still say no. That's okay. At least you didn't leave with, okay, see you later. I think it's way better. Which leads me to my next point. Be persistent, but don't be pesky. So I already recommended that you follow up within a couple days. And if they said, yes, that's cool, you follow up with me in a couple days, then make sure you do it in a couple days. So you're being persistent. And then let's say they're still not ready. Don't put off the next one for way too long down in the future. That's when you want to leave that compliment, or adding more value with a recipe, or sharing some experience and letting it go, and then follow up with them next month. Because now you've had this whole long conversation. You've formed the relationship. You've tackled a couple objections. Maybe they said, their husband said no or whatever, which sometimes I feel like just means they're not ready. I don't know. Jot down these things, and you're not going to follow up again in 2 days, but the next month when 21-day fix is still on sale, or Country Heat's on sale, and you think maybe that would be something more fun for them. Maybe you didn't really get down to what would be like their sole workout. Go back to them and say, hey, I know that last month wasn't good timing because blah, 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 or you weren't quite ready, or you were going on that trip and so it wasn't the right time for you, but I just want you to know I'm going to be starting up another group and next week, and you were the first person on my list to see if you're ready now. All right. Is this helpful, Loretta? I hope. A little bit, maybe? Okay.
Very.
Number 4, leverage your success. So you've all had success with the products. You've all had success with coaching. So these tips can be used whether you're talking about your challenge group or for coaching, but for tonight, I want to focus more on challenge groups. So leverage your success. That doesn't have to always be your personal success. It's not going, okay, you don't want to join me? Well, heck, look at me. I lost blah, 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 or my pants fit now, or whatever. That's not what I mean. What I mean is leverage the success that you're having by helping people. So you can say, I kind of used this example a minute ago. When you're following up, I know that, again, I always say it wasn't the right time for you last month because I do a lot of follow-ups the next month. I know it wasn't the right time for you last month. I'm just really excited to maybe see if this month you're in, maybe you're ready this time to join me. And I just got done doing a group with the 21-day fix, and I had a chick in there who went from a size 14 to a size 12 in 21 days or whatever. I should have written down a good example for that and I didn't. Can you tell? But you know what I mean? So leverage the success from your groups that you had the previous month, or from any time. It doesn't have to be from the previous month, and use that. Talk about the success that your challengers are having. Talk about, and it just doesn't always have to be weight related, obviously. You can talk about the confidence that somebody now has, or how if somebody's issue is really more diet and just being on track with their nutrition because of lack of meal planning or something, you could use the success story of somebody else who was able to get through that the previous month or whatever. And then you can say, I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity, and I have a group starting in a week. So if you want to jump in, now would be a great time. All right. On that note, you have to be tracking. You have to be tracking who you're talking to, when you're following up, and what the conversation's been. And I've said it a lot that I use Facebook Messenger, and it keeps track of that conversation. So I don't write down like word for word what we talked about, but I definitely keep track of how the conversation's been, dates that we talked. Now I'm using Teamsy, so it does it all for me, but you don't have to be doing Teamsy by any means. I know we have a lot of girls on here who are paper pen girls, and you're using notebooks, and that's great. No matter what you're doing, just be writing it down, because I guarantee, even if you think, oh, I won't forget this person, she's my best friend from high school, I'm not going to forget to follow up with her. You might forget, and you might forget what you guys talked about. Or you know, a lot more time will go by before you remember to follow up, and then maybe you've lost her, you know? So make sure you're tracking everything you're doing. Consistency in following up is key. I was listening to a call earlier today, and the coach talking was mentioning Melanie Mitro, and she was talking about how she is so freaking consistent with everything she does in her business, and that is why she's top coach 2 years in a row and will probably be top coach again this year. She is infallibly consistent every single day with vital behaviors, with tracking her business, and she just doesn't miss a beat. And there's definitely something there. So I'm jumping on this bandwagon of tracking that I should have done a long time ago. I've never been consistent with that till now. And I guess this month isn't a good example because it's been a tough month. But I have a lot of conversations going, and it's not getting me down because I know that it's just a kind of a wonky time of year. It always is. September always trends kind of difficult in the health and fitness business because people are thinking about football and pigging out on Sundays. And like I mentioned, their kids going back to school and they're not thinking about their health and fitness, and they're thinking about all the Christmas cookies to come and Thanksgiving and stuff. So we have our work cut out for us. But if we can be proactive going into these next few months, consistently talking to as many people as we can and consistently tracking who we're talking to, we're going to be fine, and we're going to help so many more people than if we just sit back and go, oh, geez, it's a hard time of year. I'll wait till January. If you wait till January, you're going to miss the buck, because all the people you're talking to right now, all the no's, you're going to get a lot of no's the next couple months. It's very normal. All the no's you're getting right now, come January, they're going to be yeses, and they're going to be writing down those resolutions, and they're going to want you as their coach. So stay consistent. All right. Any questions for me tonight so far? I think I hit all the points that I wanted to talk about. Any questions about Core de Force? No? All right.
I did. I'm uber excited for Core de Force.
Yay. Me too. All right. I can't hear you anymore. All right. Sorry about that. Oh, I know one thing I want to mention. If you had anybody in our sneak peek from last week, make sure you're following up with them. And what I've been saying, I need to be better about sharing how I word things. I know, I'm sorry, I try. But this is kind of how I've been wording things from people who are in my sneak peek. I'll say, I wanted to see if you've had any questions about the info you saw in our sneak peek. I'm so excited to get you started in this coaching opportunity business, and I don't want you to miss our upcoming mentorship group that starts next week. So it puts a little bit of urgency behind it, and it asks them if they have any questions. And then I use these other tips kind of depending on how the conversation goes with when I can follow up again, and so on and so forth. So if you've sent out any coaching opportunity calls lately, or you're in talks with people about coaching, we do have our new coach boot camp that's going to kick off a week from tomorrow. So now is definitely the time to be talking to people about it and letting them know that's coming. And it's a good way to put urgency on that for people. So yeah. Oh, one last thing. I just remembered. I'm really excited. So the second week of October, Beachbody Corporate is rolling out a new training that will be in the Coach Online office. So I'm going to get a sneak peek of it next week to kind of see what it's like. And I'm hoping that it could be the next thing we use as our boot camps, because I feel like the more we get away from, they're really trying in the Coach Online office to have everything you guys need and give your coaches going forward. And I feel like we've spent a lot of time kind of recreating the wheel and making our own boot camps and all of these things. And maybe it's becoming too confusing. I'd rather get all of our coaches back to the online office and really understanding how to use that as a tool. So I think it's awesome that they're creating basically a new coach boot camp in there that's supposedly a lot better than what they have now, because most coaches don't use the one that we have already because it doesn't have all the information that we really wanted to focus on. So I'm going to be talking about that a lot on the team page as I learn about it, and expect to see it the second week of October. So we'll be playing around with that, and I would really love your guys' feedback on it in terms of as a team going forward, if we want to use it, if we want to stick with what we have. Our new coach boot camps have been really, really quiet, and that's okay. I'm a firm believer in the people who want the information are going to find the information. It's not, I've spent a lot of time early in my business tweaking things, and I know it's not about that, but it would be nice to have everybody using their Coach Online office more purposefully. And I think that this might help. So keep an eye out for that too. All right, guys. Well, have a great evening. And thanks again, Loretta, for being on live. I appreciate it. And finish this last week of September strong. All right. All right.